Hi, welcome to White Threads FlossTube number 62. Thanks so much for joining me today. I belong to several needlework groups on Facebook and people discuss all sorts of aspects of embroidery and what they can do with their embroidery, how to mount it, how to start it, how to finish it, what threads to use, blah, 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 blah. Lots of questions, and that's why it's a really interesting place to be, because you always learn new things. And one question that came up in the last little while was that someone had a particular pattern that they wanted to make, but they weren't really sure what to do with it once it was finished. I don't think they wanted to frame it. I used to work as a picture framer. I know that picture framing can be very expensive, but also once you frame things, your walls fill up. They filled up for me quite quickly, seeing I worked as a picture framer. And so you don't want to get everything framed. You've got to do something with these things, or do you? And so my challenge to this person was, well, do you have to do something with it? Or is there just enough enjoyment in making it? I know that when I was younger, I've talked about this before, I was given a copy of the Reader's Digest Complete Guide to Needlecraft by my parents. And I particularly remember knitting up some squares of Fair Isle using some patterns that were in that book. And once I'd knitted them, I undid them. I didn't need to keep them. They were just enjoyable to make. And the joy was in making rather than having and looking at again later. So for me, for those things, the enjoyment was very much in the process of making, the satisfaction of knowing that I could do it. And I just wonder whether sometimes we get all worked up about, we've made these things, what are we going to do with them? Well, much of my stuff is in drawers behind me because, as you can imagine, I've made a lot of embroidery over the many years and I don't have places to put it all, and so it does end up in drawers, and that's okay. I'm all right with that. I don't need to look at it all the time. I don't need to have it up on my walls for other people to admire. For me, a lot of it is just the enjoyment in the making. The enjoyment of starting, the enjoyment of finishing, sometimes not the enjoyment of the middle bit, which seems to go on forever and ever, but also just the enjoyment of knowing that I could do it and completing it. So I just wonder if that's something that you perhaps could think about, whether that's enough. Whether you don't have to have all these things displayed. I mean, of course, these things can be given away. That's one way of using them. But I would suggest only ever give them to someone who you know will value them and won't just pass it on to the local Goodwill or Vinnie's. You want to make sure that your work is valued if you are going to give it away. So just something that I wondered if more people could think about, whether doing is enough, and that's the enjoyment rather than the finished product. So I hope that's been thought-provoking for you. Over the next little while, I don't know how often I'm going to get to make some videos. We've got family coming, we've got other visitors coming, we've got things to do over the Christmas period. I'm just not sure how often I'm going to make it in front of my camera to have a little chat to you. So I wish you all the very best for the Christmas season, or the holiday season as some people like to call it. I celebrate Christmas, so that's what I call it. I understand there are many people who don't, and then many people who celebrate other things at this time of year. So I hope you, if you are celebrating, have a lovely time with your family and your friends. Don't eat too much. If you are giving gifts at Christmas or for whatever it is that you're celebrating, I hope that the people who receive them, that is gifts of embroidered work, I hope that the people who receive them value them and are pleasantly and wonderfully surprised by your generosity in making something so beautiful and precious for them. And maybe you'll get some needleworky type things for Christmas too, maybe books or threads or fabric. So yes, I hope you have a wonderful time, and I will see you when I next see you, which I really have no idea when that will be, but I'm not gone forever. So thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.